Hi everybody, welcome to June's Crochet Series at Cuyahoga Falls Library. My name is Marianne and I'm so excited to start crocheting with you. So this month's project is headbands. This is one of the headbands that we are going to be making. This is the mesh headband. And you can wear it so that it covers your ears, kind of like an ear warmer, or you can wear it so that it doesn't, makes it a little cooler, a little better for summer. So that's the first headband pattern. The second one is a super simple one. This is called the custom headband. And I call it the custom headband because you can really make it as wide as you want. If you wanted it to be, a summery headband where you would just wear it like this, or you could make it a little thicker and do it so that it covers the ears, so that's a little bit warmer for like a winter headband. You can also take this as an opportunity to practice any stitches that you want to. For this one, I did back loop single crochet, so that's kind of how I got the ridged effect. You can do front loop single crochet to give it another stripy pattern. You can also do double, triple, really any stitch that you want to practice, you can use on this headband and it's going to look great. So super excited to start crocheting with you. And I hope this video demonstration is helpful. I'm going to pause the video and change the view so we can start crocheting. Alright, so we're going to start with a slightly harder pattern. We're going to start with this mesh headband. So I've got my beginner yarn. You can really use any acrylic or cotton blend yarn, even wool if you really want to make a wintry headband. But I'm going to go, you just want something that's soft because obviously you're going to be wearing it. You don't want it to be a scratchy headband. And for this one, I've got a size J hook. But obviously pick whichever hook matches your gauge best. Since we're using a slightly bigger yarn, I went with the J. And then I've got my pattern here, and I adapted this pattern from one I found on flowergirlcottage.blogspot.com from user I Love Sandals. Alright, so we're going to start with our slip stitch onto our hook. And this pattern is really cool because you have the option where you can either do it like the one I showed you, where it's just around and I sewed the edges together, or you can actually do it right onto a hair tie. So if you had your hair in a ponytail, you would just put your ponytail through here and then wear the headband like that. So I'm going to show you how to do the headband part. If you don't want to do the headband part, all you are going to do is chain 8. And chain is, just grab that yarn, pull it under the loop. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So either way, we're going to end up with row 1. We're going to have 8 or 7 stitches to go into. So if you're not doing the hair tie, just do your chain 8 and we'll meet you in row 1. But for those of you who want to try the hair tie, because it is kind of a weird feeling. So I have my slip stitch on my hook. You're going to take your hair tie and you're kind of going to put it onto your hook. And what you're doing is you're just going to do your stitches onto the hair tie. Let me fix the focus on my camera here. Sorry if the clicking noise is annoying. Ends are kind of getting all messed up here. Right, so hair tie is on my crochet hook. And it's kind of hard to ignore because it kind of gets in the way, but you are going to try and ignore it as best you can. And you are just going to yarn over, pull through the loop, and you have a stitch on there already. I'm going to go back under the hair tie, and I am just doing single crochet stitches. It's going to feel weird. Again, it's really hard to ignore the fact that there's a hair tie where it's not really supposed to be. But as you can see, I'm just doing regular single crochet, so that's 3 stitches. Go on, you go under the hair tie, yarn over to pull underneath the hair tie. That's how you get your 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through both of those loops. So you're kind of treating the hair tie as instead of going into a regular single crochet stitch, you're going underneath the hair tie. You have to do this 8 times. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more. And so the end product will look like that. So whether you have a chain of 8 or single crochet 8. This is really cool too. If you wanted to just make a really cute scrunchie, you could just keep single crocheting around and you have a scrunchie. Alright, so now what we're going to do, we're turning our work as if it's a regular single crochet row. The row 1 pattern says to single crochet in the second chain from hook. So we're not going to chain 1 to turn. This isn't a regular row. This is our foundation row. We're going to skip the first single crochet and go into the second. We're just going to pretend, I know they look like single crochet stitches, we are pretending they're just our chain row. So single crochet in the second chain from hook. So regular single crochet. I have 6 stitches left. We're going to chain 3 on the spot. So 1, 2, 3. Skip 2 stitches. So we're skipping 1, 2. Single crochet in the next stitch. And then chain 3 again. So 1, 2, 3. Single crochet in first chain. In our case, it's the first stitch. So it's this one at the end here. We are just doing a regular single crochet. And at the end, you should have your foundation row. And then you have 2 chain 3 loops is what we call these, because they're loops that are formed by 3 chains. All right, so now on to row 2. We are going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then single crochet in the chain 3 loop. So that's going to be this first loop here. It is a loop formed by our chain 3 in row 1. So we're just single crocheting right there. And I didn't go into an actual stitch. So let me undo that and do it again slowly. When you are single crocheting in a loop, you just go into the center of that loop. Not going into the stitches on top or the stitches below. We are just going in the middle of that loop and single crocheting. All right, now we are chaining 3 again. So 1, 2, 3. Single crochet in the next chain 3 loop, which will be this one. So I'm just going into kind of the center of that loop, doing a single crochet stitch. And now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, double crochet in the last stitch. So double crochet is I'm going to yarn over, insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So you'll see how the rows are forming is I have my 2 chain 3 loops here, and then the row above it I'm going to have 3 loops. So there's a chain 5, a chain 3, and then that chain 2. So it's going to go 2, 3, 2, 3 is the mesh pattern that we are doing. But once you do it a few times, it does get easier. It's also rather forgiving if you do happen to miss one, so don't worry about that. I had to restart mine a few times before I got the hang of it, so don't worry if you have to do that. All right, we are on row 3. So row 3, we are chaining 1 to turn. Chain 1 and turn. Single crochet in the double crochet. So we ended our row 2 with a double crochet. in this stitch here. So now I'm going to do a single crochet just in there, chain 3, single crochet in the chain 3 loop. So this was what messed me up when I came here. So remember that we chain 2 to form this loop here. So you're not single crocheting in this loop. You're single crocheting in the chain 3 loop, which means it's this middle one here. So I'm going into that one and we're just single crocheting. And then we're chaining 3. And then single crochet in the 3rd chain on your chain 5. So this is your chain 5 loop from the previous row. It wants you to single crochet in the 3rd loop. I just tried to get as close to it as possible. So if you have your chain 5 loop, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches. So the 3rd one would be this one right here. If you do the 4th stitch, it doesn't make any difference. It's really just so that it ends and it still looks like a regular row. All right, now we are on row 4. So we're repeating this. We're chaining 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're single crocheting in that last chain 3 loop that we did. So this one right here. We're chaining 3 again. 1, 2, 3. Single crochet in chain 3 loop. And then this is where we chain 2. 1, 2. Double crochet in that final stitch. So we're still continuing that pattern where it's 2 mesh holes, 3, 2, and then 3. You always start one row with a single crochet, and then when you go back you end with a double crochet, and then begin with single, next one ends with double. So we're going to continue rows 3 and 4. So we just finished row 4, so now I'm back on a row 3. I'm chaining 1 to turn, single crochet in the 1st stitch, chain 3, single crochet in the chain 3 loop. Do you remember you're skipping this one? This is a chain 2 loop. Let me get my camera to focus. So you're going into the 2nd hole there, single crochet there, chain 3 again. And so we're single crocheting in one of those last stitches. We're not going right into the loop. This is our chain 5 loop. So we're going to count our stitches 1, 2, 3. You can go into this one and just do a single crochet. All that does is join it to the end of the row. And now we're on a row 4. We're chaining 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're single crocheting in this first chain 3 loop. We are again chaining 3, single crochet in the next loop, and then to finish this row we're chaining 2 and double crocheting in that last single crochet stitch. And then I know since I ended this one with a double crochet, it means that the next one, which is a continuation of row 3, we're chaining 1 to turn, and this row begins with a single crochet in that stitch. So you'll see our mesh pattern is starting to form. It's going that 2, 3, 2, 3. We're going to continue that. So I know if there's 3, this is my last row. If I have 3 large holes, then I know that my next one is a row 4. If there's only 2 loops, then I know I want to do a row 3. We will go through this in class as well. So again, this video is meant to be a supplement. It is meant to be a resource for you if you find it helpful, but if you don't, we will go through it in class. All right, so I single crocheted. Now I'm going to chain 3. I lost my place in the pattern. Give me a second. Single crochet, double crochet, chain 3. Single crochet, yeah, we're going into the chain 3 loop. This one, since I had 3, we want to make 2. Chain 3 again. In the third chain. Cool. So that was a row 3, so it made 2 holes, which means now I'm doing a row 4. So we're going to chain 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to single crochet in this loop, the first chain 3 loop. Then we chain 3 again, single crochet into this loop, and this is where we created 2. We have 2 of those chain loops. We need a third, so chain just 2, double crochet in that final stitch. So that was an end of row 4, so now I'm going back to a row 3. So we're chaining 1, starts with a single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Skip that first hole, we're going into our chain 3 loop, which is the one in the center. Single crochet there, 1, 2, 3. Single crochet onto that chain 5, and with 2 loops. Again, if you decided not to crochet right onto a hair tie, your pattern is going to look the same. It's just you're not going to have a hair tie, but you're still going to have the same number of stitches and you're still going to follow that same pattern. So I'm going to do a few more rows of this that we'll do together, and then I will show you how to finish the project. All right, so I just finished a row 3, so now I'm chaining 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet in the chain 3 loop, so this one right here. I'm single crocheting. So that's my chain 5 loop. Now I'm chaining 3 again. 1, 2, 3. Single crochet into this chain 3 loop. And now we are chaining 2, 1, 2, double crochet in that last stitch. Since I ended with a double crochet, that means it was a row 4, starting with a row 3 for this one. So we're chaining 1 to turn. Single crochet in the first stitch, chain 3. Single crochet, not in this first loop, but in this one in the middle. We're just making 2 chain 3 loops this time. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Single crochet in that chain 5 chain. So now I have 2 loops, 2 of the chain 3 loops. So I'm on a row 5. I'm on a row 4, apologies, going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet in that first chain 3 loop. Chain 3, 3. Go into the next loop, just kind of attaching it there. And since it's not in a stitch, you will notice that it can move. That is okay. And then we're chaining 2, to double crochet in that last stitch. So now, row 3 again, I'm chaining 1 to turn. Start with a single crochet in that first stitch. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Don't go into the chain 2 loop, go into the chain 3 loop. Single crochet there, chain 3 again, single crochet in one of those stitches on your chain 5 loop over here. Cool. Now we're back to a chain 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to turn, single crochet in that first chain 3 loop, chain 3, single crochet in the next chain 3 loop, and then chain 2, and with a double crochet. Chain 1 to turn, do a single crochet stitch to start, chain 3, single crochet in the one in the center, and chain 3 loop, chain 3 again, single crochet on the chain of your chain 5 loop from the previous row. And now we are back to a chain 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crocheting in this first loop, chaining 3, going into that second chain 3 loop, chaining 2, double crochet. Alright, and the nice thing about headbands is you can just keep going with this pattern until it is a circumference that you need it. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to show you how to end it now. So once it's the length that you want, if you did not do the hair tie, if you started with your chain 8, what you'll do is you can either put your chain row and your most recent row together and attach them that way. You can also fasten off, so end your project and then use a yarn needle or crochet hook to attach these two edges. Since we do have a hair tie in ours, what we're going to do is we're going to attach it to the other side of the hair tie. And how I did this was, it's a lot easier if you just do a row of single crochet first. And it doesn't have to be very neat. So what I'm doing is I single crocheted in that first stitch, I single crocheted 1 in my loop there, single crochet in the loop, single crochet, and then single crochet again in the loop. And it just makes it so that you actually have clear stitches there. And then I bring it back to my hair tie. Hold it just like that. And then similarly to how we did, I'm going to chain 1 to turn. I'm going to go into this single crochet stitch as if I'm just doing another regular row, but I'm going to also put my hair tie as part of that stitch. And then I'm going to yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through both. And what that's going to do is I'm just single crocheting and it's attaching to my hair tie. So for each stitch across, I'm going into the stitch and the hair tie is kind of over my stitch. Yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch. Go into this one, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through those loops. Insert into a stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, yarn over, pull through the loops. And then I'm just going to cut my yarn here, and we're fastening off like normal. You can knot your ends or leave them in however you prefer. But you'll see now there's both ends are attached via single crochet to the hair tie. This is very tiny for a headband, but I can wear it as a bracelet. It was just to show the example of the stitches. So that was the more challenging pattern. I'm going to use the same yarn and the same hook. And we are going to do our second headband. Alright, so this is on the second page of your pattern. I have two listed. It's custom headband 1 and custom headband 2. They are both very simple. The only difference between the two is you're essentially making this very, very narrow rectangular shape that you're going to attach at the end to make the headband. The custom headband 1 goes from almost like vertically, so you only chain 8 for this one, and I'm just going to show you briefly what this looks like. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It starts the exact same way as our mesh one, where we are working up, so it's a bunch of very short rows to get a headband. When I did this one, I wanted my stitches going the other way, so this one I chained until the headband fit around my head. For me, that was about chain 64. So you're going to want to chain for a little while. And you're essentially going to chain until it's the circumference of, if you're making it for yourself, the circumference so it fits around your head. If you're making it for somebody else, then you'll want, their circumference, or you can guess. There are like standard sizes that you can find for like adult, child, and teen headband. But it's easiest if you actually have their circumference. You can kind of just do a chain until it's that length. And then both of these headbands, like I said at the beginning, I wrote them to do just regular single crochet for the entire headband. However, you can definitely do any combination of stitches that you want. This one was a back loop single crochet because I wanted it to be a little ridged. It gave it kind of that little more decoration. If you want to use this as an opportunity to practice any stitches, you could do half double, you could do double, you could do triple, any combination of those, really anything that you want to make your headband look the way you want it to. Cool, so I'm going to do, this is custom headband 2, again that is just, depends on where your chain row is. This one, my stitches are going horizontally. In this one that we did, the stitches were going vertically. Totally up to you which one you prefer. But once I have my chain long enough, I'm going to skip that first chain. We're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. And then we're going to single crochet in every stitch across. And the nice thing about these two is, like I said, you can really customize not only stitches, but also whether you want it to be a summery headband or a winter, like ear warmer, more like. Because all you have to do is, if you just make it a little bit thicker, or as long as you want, you can change it by the different yarn. You can have one for every season. It's the same amount of crocheting you have to do, but sometimes when you're doing the custom headband 2 and your rows are super long, sometimes it just feels like they go on forever. Sometimes doing the custom headband 1, because it's working vertically and your rows are super short, you still have to do more of them because your headband still has to be the same size, but somehow it feels like you're doing less because the rows are shorter. We are almost there. I will do this. I'll do the foundation row and I'll start the second row to just show you how to get started, and then I'll pause the video so you're not just bored watching me crochet. And then I will resume and show you the 2 options we have for finishing our headbands. So again, you can definitely just do single crochet, you can do any stitch you want. I am going to do front loop single crochet. So, I'm going to finish my row here. I'm chaining 1 to turn. So I have my foundation row done. So when you're looking at your single crochet stitches, forget the clicky, I'm just correcting the focus on the camera. When you have your single crochet stitches, a stitch is both of these loops. It's that V shape right there. So this is a stitch, this is a stitch, this is a stitch, this is a stitch, and so on. When you're crocheting, you go through both loops. You go through both loops on that V. Back loop only and front loop only single crochet are when you only go through one loop. And both of them kind of have a different effect. Back loop single crochet has a much more ridged effect. So this was when I only went in the back loop of that V for every row, and it made this, that is the back loop. It makes it visible. Because obviously you didn't crochet it into the stitch, so it leaves it so it's, you can see it, and it makes this really cool ridge. This one I'm going to do front loops. So this would be the back loop, and then the loop closest to you is the front loop. And then all you do is you do a regular single crochet. You just go into that, fix the camera, you go into the first loop, yarn over, pull through the loop. You have 2 loops, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops. And as I'm going, I'll show you the other side in a second. So from this side, it doesn't really look any different. It looks like regular crochet. But when you go on the other side, you can see I have a stripe there. kind of a ridge because that's the front loop, or that's the back loop. You see the back loop because I'm only using the front loop. So I'm going to continue doing this. I am probably going to do, I guess I'd do about 8 rows just to make it a pretty good width, but again, you can customize it, do it however you would like. So yeah, I'm going to pause the video and I will be right back. Alright, I am back. I did about 5 rows, 4 or 5 rows. So this is about, you know, the length or the width. This is the width that I would like for my headband. Just make it kind of a summery hair accessory. So there's 2 ways to finish it. I did. Option 1 is you can make it adjustable, so you can kind of add ties to the end. And then option 2 is what I did for this one. There's no ties on the end, I just single crocheted the 2 edges together. So I'll show you how to do both. So if I wanted to go with option 2, you could even do it so you add a twist if you wanted. So what I did first to make a clean edge is we're going to single crochet along the end of our project. So I'm kind of inserting here, and then I'm inserting into this hole, kind of making up your own stitches. And all that does is it gives me stitches on this side. So when I put the 2 edges together, I slip stitch into that first stitch on my foundation row, and then I'm going to single crochet. I'm going to insert into this stitch that I created and go into the other side of that edge. And then you're doing regular single crochet. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to go into this last single crochet stitch, and then that connected the 2 edges. I'm going to pull this out. Another way to do it is you can fasten off, and if it's easier for you to just take a yarn needle and sew it together, you can do that. You can also skip what I did with making a neat single crochet edge along here and put your edges together, insert into both. So I have both edges on my hook, yarn over, pull through the edges, end up with 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both of those, insert through both edges. Again, you are kind of just guessing. You want to be as close to the edge as possible, and you just want to make it even so that you're going into the same place on both edges. So if mine are here, edges together, I'm just going to jab my hook into there, yarn over, yarn over. You connect them like that. Just making it up as you go. Since there's no stitches there, it makes it a little harder, which is why I do the single crochet along the edge, but either way works. The other option is if you wanted to make it adjustable, I'm just going to fasten off this. So I have my very narrow rectangle, And we're basically going to add 2 ties on either edge. That way when you put it on, you have the option to tie it in the back. It's nice if you don't know the exact circumference, or you just want to be able to adjust it, but if you don't know the circumference of someone's head, say you're making it to sell or making it for a gift and you don't know, this is an easy way to make it adjustable. So you can use ribbon. I am going to do 2 quick chains. So slip stitch on my hook, and then I'm just going to chain. So I have a couple inch chain, enough to obviously tie. And I am just kind of guessing here, so I'm going to say a little bit longer than that. It definitely depends on your preference how long you want it. So I'm going to say that's good for a tie. So I'm going to count these stitches. Lost count already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that was 21 doubles, which means 42 stitches. I count my stitches in doubles. And then I can either fasten off here and then just tie it using the tail, or since I'm still connected to this project, I can just insert into the center of this edge, because that's where we're going to want the hook, and I'm just going to do a slip stitch. And a slip stitch is you yarn over, you pull through, and then you don't yarn over again. You just pull through again. And now I'm going to fasten off. So I'm going to cut, pull it tight, and you have your tie. And then you can knot and weave in these ends. Cool, so now this side has a tie. Oh, my end came. This end has a tie. So then I want to do the same on this side. And I said it was 42, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23, 24, 31, 32, 33, 34, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. And I misspoke earlier, I just want to clarify. So it was 42 stitches that I did for the chain. But the reason I said 21 is because when I count my stitches, I count them by twos. So I count them like 1, 2, 3, and then I know that that's 6 stitches because I count them in twos. That is just a personal preference. I don't know when or why I started doing it that way, but that's how I count my stitches. But I didn't want to cause confusion because I did say 21 stitches earlier, and then I did 42 chains, and so I didn't want to, just wanted to clarify what I meant by that. All right, and same thing, I'm going to keep my project connected. Refocus the camera. And I want it to be in the center here, so kind of just right in the spot here. I'm going to do a slip stitch, cut the yarn, fasten off, and then when I weave these in, Because last time on the other side it popped out right away. I'm going to bring it over here and I'm going to knot these two ends together just for a little extra security. And then I can weave these in. That out of the way, these out of the way. So that is our headband. It has ties on both sides. You can also cut these off as well. Cool, and this was following custom headband 2 because I went with the horizontal working. This one was back loop connected, just connect the two edges together. This one was front loop. We did the ties, and that is it. I hope that this video was helpful. And if not, bring your questions to class because I really look forward to crocheting with you. Thanks for watching.